you're talking playoff football.
I'll tell you.
Wellington Mara always said, once a giant, always a giant. For me, it's only a giant.
Giants fans, welcome back to another episode of Only a Giant. Happy to have you here. We're here to kind of discuss the Thursday night game. Obviously, it's a little bit late here, but weekend kind of kicked in, football on Sunday. Wanted to kind of digest this a little bit further. But obviously, Dallas Cowboys won 20-15 against the New York Giants on a Thursday night football game, which was one of the most watched Thursday night football games, I think they said ever, which was pretty cool for the Amazon Prime stuff. Definitely a cool atmosphere, and maybe that's where we'll start. The opening intros to the game, I was actually at the stadium, was a really cool environment. Really kind of just, you felt the vibe, and the vibe felt positive. Everyone was really excited for this game. The light show, the kind of light stuff that they did, although what do you do with that little wristband thing at this point after the game? Kind of pointless. I couldn't really figure it out at first. I'm like, how do I turn this dang thing on? Turns out they control it. So anyway, the whole kind of late show, the fireworks during the introductions was really cool. Seeing Malik Neighbors run out of the tunnel was awesome, and kind of you see almost kind of how much pressure we're putting on this rookie wide receiver. Now he is obviously a stud, and that's what he's here for. But at the same time, it's a little unfair to be completely honest with you. Obviously, the game itself, like I mentioned, Giants lost 20-15 against Dallas Cowboys. It was nice that they were in the game, which is, I don't know, probably sad, honestly, that's kind of the spot that I'm hanging my hat on, that we were in the game. That's kind of how far I feel like we've fallen at this point. And it's kind of pathetic. Makes you a little disgusted with yourself, disgusted with this team, disgusted being a fan sometimes. But, we're here for the good. We're here for the bad. You get 2 Super Bowls, earlier in my lifetime, 2007, 2011. And those were some good years. So you kind of got to take the good with the bad, I think. But I guess let's just jump right in. And obviously, what I always like to do is I like to look at stats first. So we'll go with individuals first. Daniel Jones, 29 for 40, 281 yards, no touchdowns, and an interception. Was only sacked once. Rushing the ball, Devin Singletary, 14 carries for 24 yards, 1.7 yards per carry. Horrible. Reception-wise, Malik Neighbors, 12 catches, 115 yards, and Wan'Dale Robinson, 11 catches for 71 yards. Darius Slayton, 3 for 56. Tyrone Tracy, 1 for 19. I think it was a screen. A good play there. Singletary, 1 for 14, I believe, also a screen. And Theo, 1 for 6. Jalen Hyatt targeted once on the last offensive play of the game for the Giants, and that play was intercepted. What else? Tyrone Tracy had a fumble. Devin Singletary had a fumble, even though it doesn't show up on the stat sheet because it was ruled incomplete. Guys, I hate to say it, I can't stand the fumbling issues with him. I know that was ruled not a fumble, and you that is what it is. But at the same time, man, it's an issue. 4 games he's fumbled, and I don't like it. Don't like it at all. Defensively for the Giants, Kayvon Thibodeau did have a sack. That was probably the highlight of the game. Tyler Nubin had 6 solo tackles. Mike McFadden flying all over the field as well. I'm not really going to go into PFF this and PFF that. It's kind of just, it is what it is at this point. We saw what the outcome was. For Dallas, Dak Prescott, 22 for 27 for 221 yards and 2 touchdown passes. He was also sacked once. Running the ball for Dallas, while it feels like they ran the ball so much better than they actually did, it was only 11 carries out of Rico Dowdle for 46 yards. Zeke had 5 carries for 19 yards, and their fullback, Hunter Lupke, had 2 for 8. CeeDee Lamb, 3 for 8 as well. Reception-wise, CeeDee Lamb, 7 for 98 with a touchdown. Jake Ferguson, 7 for 49. Jalen Tolbert, 3 for 24. And Brandon Cooks quiet with 1 for 16. Defensively for them, not a lot happened as well. DeMarcus Lawrence did have a sack, but they just kind of it seemed like every player for them was kind of getting hurt left and right. I think the player on their defense that I was most impressed with was DeMarvion Overshawn, or however you pronounce his name. Dude was flying all over the place, had some really solid tackles. Just seemed like he was flying all over the place for Dallas, and he was probably the player that I was the most intrigued by and just kind of impressed with on Dallas. For the Giants defensively, I think the player I was most impressed with wasn't Tyler Nubin. It wasn't Micah McFadden, although Mike McFadden played a really good game. But I think at this point, you kind of expect it after what we've seen with him. For me, it was Cordell Flott. I think he was flying all over the place. He was tight in coverage. Yeah, he got beat a couple times. But really, out of the other receivers on Dallas, nobody else really made a big impact. Jalen Tolbert, like I said, 3 for 24. Their number 2 is Brandon Cooks, 1 for 16. I wouldn't be shocked to see them make a trade or something. Brandon Cooks has not been very active this year, and they need another receiver, I think. If you look at the team stats, and that's kind of always an interesting exercise, I guess, if you will. First downs for the Giants, 16. First downs for the Dallas Cowboys, 14. Third down efficiency, we were actually a little better, 5 for 16. They were 3 for 10. And we were 3 for 4 going for it on fourth down. They were 1 of 1. We actually had more plays in them, 65 to 51. We had more total yards in them. And we had more kind of everything other than, I guess, rushing we clearly didn't have. The big difference, I think, in this game was the red zone. We just were not able to get the ball in the end zone. Obviously, there was one big penalty that I am very frustrated with the offensive face mask, which should not have been a penalty on the Giants. But in general, Dallas was penalized way more than we were. 11 penalties for 89 yards for Dallas and 4 for 35 for us. But the big thing is we controlled the time of possession, 35 minutes to 24 minutes, roughly. And that was kind of a tell of this game. I felt like the Giants kind of needed to do that to have a chance of winning this game, kind of keep the offense off the field for the Dallas Cowboys and establish long drives, but ultimately you needed to punch it into the end zone, really is kind of what it comes down to. First thing I want to do is I want to go over my 3 things that needed to happen to win this game before this was a preview episode. So my first one was run the ball for 150 yards with no damn fumbles. Okay, Singletary didn't technically have a fumble, but in my eyes, he fumbled the damn ball, and that's frustrating to me. But technically, mission accomplished. Run the ball for 150 yards? Nowhere near accomplished. This was probably the worst I've seen our offensive line blocking the run blocking side of things, and it was kind of like Dallas just stacked the box and kind of dared us to throw the ball, and we did throw the ball, and we moved the ball pretty successfully. I felt like just they kind of locked down in the red zone. But the running game was pitiful. We could not get the running game going. They stacked the box. And kind of in the second half, I'm actually glad we did this. They kind of pivoted. I like that they pivoted. They got away from the running game a little bit because it clearly wasn't working. And they really focused on those short throws, which is kind of an extension of the running game. Obviously, that's not all you want to do. You want to be able to hit some of those deeper throws, and we struggled with that. It was a little bit frustrating to see Daniel Jones consistently miss those. But at the same time, Darius Slayton, you got your hand on one. Man, come up with something. Make a play. That's always been my issue with Darius Slayton, and this is not me taking the blame away from Daniel Jones because he has to hit these guys. He has to figure out how to throw a damn deep ball. Either they're long or they're short, and I don't like short. Short means you're going to get intercepted. Long, at least, hopefully no one's over the top and nobody else has a chance other than the receiver. But Darius Slayton to me just does not adjust at all. Like the ball's in the air, and it has to be where he's running the ball. He doesn't slow down well. I feel like he does sometimes, but it just seems like it takes him out of the play more than anything. He's not good at adjusting just in general, like that catch that he had where he kind of like tried to come down like this, like get your body over a little bit. He didn't see the ball quick enough. And it just always seems like it's like, it has to be a perfect ball for him to catch it. And clearly Daniel Jones is not throwing a perfect deep ball. So kind of an issue there. A little sidetrack there. We'll jump back over to the 3 things that needed to happen. So 0 for 1 out of the first 3 here. So the second one was win the time of possession, and we did that. Awesome. So 1 for 2. We controlled the game. We controlled the time of possession. We kept Dallas's offense off the field and tried to really shorten this game. And I think that was a perfect game plan. I think Brian Daboll had the game plan that was a recipe for success. It just didn't work out, obviously, with not punching it into the end zone. Kind of crazy thing I heard that we didn't even throw the ball in the end zone once. No ball was thrown into the end zone. That's an issue. Ugh. Third thing was no pass interference penalties that set Dallas up in the red zone. I think we did pretty good on that. I don't believe there was any pass interferences that kind of cost us. Obviously, the one big play was the CeeDee Lamb touchdown, and Deontay Banks kind of bit on it and wasn't able to catch up, kind of slowed down. Good throw by Dallas. Really one of the few times that I think we left him in single coverage with not a safety over the top. And part of that was a horrible angle by Tyler Nubin. But in general, I feel like we did enough to win. I almost feel like we kind of dominated this game, and that's obviously not apparent based off the fact that we lost, but we really did move the ball well. We forced Dallas to punt. These are things that we haven't been able to do in the past, which is kind of nice to see. And it kind of comes back to, how do you feel? Is there a moral victory in this game? And I want to say no, but at the same time, man, we've gotten our asses kicked by Dallas lately. We've gotten our asses kicked by Philly, other than the last game of the year last year. So I still feel like we're building. We're heading in the right direction. Yes, Daniel Jones is probably not the quarterback of the future, but he doesn't need to be right now. Can we win some games to be competitive and hopefully keep jobs to where we can find some type of quarterback next year or the year after, or sign a veteran, see what Sam Darnold wants to come over and be our quarterback for a year until we get Arch Manning or something, which who knows if that'll really happen. That would be cool in my eyes, but maybe we could trade our first this year and try to recoup trade back and recoup a first for next year or something like that. So you have a little bit more ammo in the next draft. Those are things that I'd love to see. We'll see if it happens. We'll jump over to the offensive side of the ball. And, what do you see? I guess the first thing I really look at is pass blocking was pretty good. It was good to see. A lot of short throws that worked, but a lot of bad that you kind of saw in that as well. And this is, I think, where things were a little frustrating for me, especially being there live, because you really kind of saw it more. You could see the whole route develop. You could see when the wide receivers make a break, or when they do their cuts with the routes that they're running, and then you see Daniel Jones kind of locking in and being so damn slow to get the ball out. And I think that's kind of the takeaway from this game. Really does show how slow Daniel Jones is to get the ball out. He really is not anticipating. He is waiting for someone to be open. And I think a lot of people have already said that. So this isn't anything new, but seeing it with your own eyes, in person, really kind of shows how detrimental it can be. For example, I mean, some of those plays to Malik Neighbors where he is just sitting there waiting for the ball, where he has a chance to get yacked, but he can't, because the minute the ball finally does get there, he's already getting hit. He was wide open. He probably had 2 yards of separation or more. And Daniel Jones just took so long to get him the ball that once he finally got him the ball, the cornerback's already there. The linebacker's already there. He's already taken kind of a big hit and getting unloaded on. And that happened quite a few times in this game. There was multiple times, I don't know if the TV angle showed it or not, where he was slow to get up. He still got up. He still went out there and balled like he always does. But those hits are going to add up. And, maybe down the road, I know he's a dog and he kind of, sets his mindset with that. But, man, those hits are going to add up. And obviously a concussion happened a little bit later in the game in one of the last plays, I guess I should say. But we need better ball placement. We need quicker throws. We need more anticipation. There just seems to be no anticipation out of Daniel Jones. And I don't know. That's, to me, that's not something that you can just randomly develop year 6 or year 7. And that's an issue. It really is. And it reared its ugly head. So the passing game, ultimately, I think Daniel Jones played an all right game. He wasn't the reason we lost this game, although people want to kind of rag on him and say that it is. I don't think he was necessarily the reason that we lost this game. I think there was kind of a combo of things. But man, hitting one of those deep throws, that Slayton defensive offside under the throw was a killer. That could have been a touchdown. We just need to hit some of those deep balls, and we really need to kind of almost start just attacking that. Like, you don't want to win pointless games, and I don't want to say that we're going to win pointless games because no game is pointless, but if he can't hit those throws, we need to start doing that more than 4 times a game. Do it 10 times a game and let him air it out and see what the frick happens. If we can't hit him, we lose games, and so be it. But if there's any shot of him winning games for us and having any shot of being here of any type of long term, he needs to start hitting those, man. And it's bad. He did it early in his career, which is the crazy thing. I went back and watched that Tampa Bay game, and man, the Commanders game or Redskins at that time maybe, but so many times where he had a great deep ball and it's just gone right now. I don't know if it's confidence. I know he has the arm strength. He threw that ball that was thrown across the field. Looked like he went like 60 yards. He has the arm strength. I'm not worried about that. It's just the touch. It's knowing you got to put a little bit more air on this one or a little less air on it. It's always on the line to me. And he just needs to get more air on the throw half the time. What else offensively, guys? Running the ball sucked. Maisie Smith, we made him look like a Pro Bowler or an all-pro player. Pretty confusing to me when he's been horrible for most of his career, and he came out and balled out and played like he was an all-pro guy. Devin Singletary didn't seem to have a lot of room. It looked like John Michael Schmitz was kind of getting dominated in the run game, and really all the guards were in general. Not a good look there with the run game. You got to get that fixed. Got rid of the duos, and I think Bobby Skinner mentioned this a couple times. Why are we getting rid of that? Maybe I need to figure that out. Maybe there's an answer to that already. But that was such a staple of this run game. Why did we? I don't think we ran it once, and that's something live that I could see. I'm like, why haven't we run it once? What's going on here? A little frustrating there. A little frustrating. A little annoying. Offensively, like I said, pass blocking held up pretty good. We only gave up 1 sack. I think Daniel Jones moved around pretty well in the pocket. Just late getting the ball out. And I think that 1 sack actually may not have even been attributed to an offensive lineman. I could be wrong on that, but I don't think it was. So that was good. Defensively, he held Dallas to 20 points. It's hard to be unhappy about that. I don't think that the defense played bad. I also don't think that the defense played amazing like everyone else wants to say. Like I feel like a lot of people are praising the defense, and I think there is praise to go to the defense. Obviously, you held Dallas at 20 points, but you also won the time of possession. Like it was nice to see the offense kind of hold up their side of the ball with like controlling the clock and giving the defense some breaks and rest like that. But the times that they seemed to need like a key stop, they just never seemed to get it, which was kind of frustrating. It was very bend, don't break. Obviously, they had 2 touchdowns. One was the CeeDee Lamb touchdown, so maybe, and then the other one was a potential ineligible man downfield where they picked up the flag on a screen. I think it was like 20 yards to Rico Dowdle. Maybe I need to go back and watch it, but I just didn't really get a great feeling of the defense. It just always felt like when we needed a big play, we just were never getting the big play. No turnovers, no, they got the ball back for us at the end, which was nice, but there was 30 seconds left, 40 seconds left with an offense that clearly is not going to be able to drive the ball downfield to get into any type of range. By the way, I don't hate that Brian Dable didn't challenge that Malik Neighbors catch or non-catch live. I couldn't tell. But I just felt like if they ruled it incomplete on the field, it was really going to be a hard play to overturn. And then if we lose out on that tight end or that timeout, we really have no chance at that point to get the ball back at all and maybe make something happen. So I felt like it was probably the right idea not to challenge that. I think, looking at it, the TV angle and seeing it through Twitter and everything or X, you see that the ball came out. So it was the right call. But I just felt like the defense was, too much bend, don't break. It's so tough because you don't want to blitz Dallas too much because that's what we ran into last year and they just shredded us. And Dak proved that he handles the blitz really well, but I just wish that somebody made a play. I just wish somebody stepped up at the times that we needed a big play to get off the field a little bit quicker to keep them out of field goal range, and give us a legitimate chance. Now, that's not the defense's fault. So maybe I should just shut the heck up by being unhappy with the defense. Obviously, we only kicked field goals in this game, 5 field goals, and that's really what it kind of comes down to. We didn't get in the end zone at all. And you need to score points to win. So I guess I'm going to take it back a little bit. Defense played pretty good, and I guess I should not be a hater on the defense. But still, I just wish at some point somebody made a play to get us off the field a little bit quicker, to get in Dak's face a little bit more, to force some more errant throws, to not let Rico Dowdle or Zeke Elliott get just enough yards for a first down over and over again. It just felt like when we needed a play, nobody stepped up to make the play. In the beginning of the game, I think they did. They did a good job with that. End of the game, it just felt like we couldn't get off the field when we needed to get off the field. That's all I got for us today, guys. Obviously, we're recapping a loss. It's kind of a late recap too. Obviously, it's Monday at this point, and we're all getting ready to move on to Seattle at this point. Another tough game across country. It's a 4:00 game Eastern. Man, you need this win. You need this win next week. Otherwise, this season really could start spiraling even more than it already has. 1-3 is not great. 0-4 is worse, but 1-4 is not great either. That's all I got for you guys. We'll probably look at Thursday, maybe Friday for the preview pod against the Seattle Seahawks. Other than that, let's go Big Blue and keep those heads up. That's 4 games, guys. So there's 13 games left in the year. We're already close to being a quarter of the way done with the season. Kind of crazy. But let's go Big Blue and try to get some wins. Try to stack some wins, damn it. Damn. Let's go, guys.